The movie opens in 14th century Florence, Italy, a time when the Black Plague is spreading rapidly across Europe, striking fear into the hearts of everyone. Amid this terrifying chaos, we meet a brave and charming young man named Lorenzo, played by Hayden Christensen. He's a bit of a lovable rogue, someone who lives on his wits, his looks, and his street smarts. But Florence is no place to be careless right now, and Lorenzo is in deep trouble. He's been caught having an affair with the wife of the wealthy and powerful Gerbino, a ruthless man who doesn't take betrayal lightly. In the opening chase scene, Lorenzo is fleeing for his life, literally, running through the narrow alleys of Florence with Gerbino's men in hot pursuit. It's fast-paced, funny, and slightly chaotic, mixing danger with comedy. He dives into a river to escape, and while it may look desperate, it's also classic Lorenzo, always landing on his feet, even if he's soaking wet. The movie sets its tone early. There's danger and disease all around, but this is going to be a wild, romantic, and slightly naughty ride. Meanwhile, outside the city, we're introduced to Pompinia Anastagi, a beautiful and noble young woman played by Misha Barton. Her father, a wealthy merchant, has just died from the plague, leaving her not only heartbroken but vulnerable. She's supposed to marry a nobleman she's never met, a Russian prince named Djinski. But before he can arrive, her family's fortune becomes the target of the greedy and evil Gerbino. He plans to take everything Pompinia owns, including her estate and, if he has his way, her hand in marriage. To escape this unwanted fate, Pompinia flees and seeks shelter in a secluded countryside convent. Lorenzo, on the other hand, after dodging death in Florence, ends up in the same area, also trying to hide out. Still pretending to be a priest to stay safe, he stumbles upon the convent. What he doesn't know is that this particular convent is filled with young, curious, and very bored nuns. These girls have been isolated from the world for far too long, and when a handsome priest like Lorenzo arrives, their curiosity turns into obsession. Lorenzo quickly finds himself the center of their attention, and while he tries to stay in disguise, the temptation around him is relentless. The scenes are playful, cheeky, and filled with flirtatious energy. At the convent, Lorenzo finally meets Pompinia, but he doesn't recognize her true identity, and she doesn't reveal who she really is either. He assumes she's just another novice, and she believes he's a priest. This sets up a classic romantic misunderstanding. Despite their disguises, sparks fly between them. Lorenzo, despite being used to short-term flings and casual liaisons, begins to feel something deeper for this mysterious young woman. Pompinia, cautious and guarded, feels a similar pull but knows their connection is built on lies. While their relationship slowly builds under these false identities, we cut to Prince Djinski, the Russian nobleman who was supposed to marry Pompinia. He's on his way to Florence but, like everyone else, is getting caught in the chaos of the plague-stricken country. He's portrayed as a kind, noble, and awkwardly charming man who believes in true love. On his way to find Pompinia, he's misled and nearly killed by bandits hired by Gerbino, who wants to remove the prince from the equation. But the prince survives the ambush and continues on his journey, determined to find his bride. Back at the convent, things take a dramatic turn. Gerbino, still scheming to claim Pompinia for himself, discovers her whereabouts. He storms the convent with his thugs, ready to force her into marriage. Lorenzo, who has now fallen genuinely in love with Pompinia, decides to step up and protect her, even if it means revealing his true identity and risking his life. It's a big shift in his character, from the carefree rogue to a man willing to fight for someone he loves. As Gerbino arrives, Lorenzo and Pompinia attempt to escape, but they're captured. Gerbino threatens to kill Lorenzo, and forces Pompinia to agree to marry him to save Lorenzo's life. Reluctantly, she agrees. It's a heartbreaking moment, especially for Lorenzo, who feels he has failed her. However, true to the tone of the film, even in this dark moment, there's an undercurrent of hope and humor. The story then shifts briefly to the nuns, who rally together in support of Lorenzo. They may be sheltered, but they're not naive, and they've grown fond of him. With their help, and a bit of chaos, they create a distraction, allowing Lorenzo to escape. It's a comic relief sequence that works well, blending the film's naughty energy with some clever teamwork. Meanwhile, Prince Djinski finally arrives, only to discover the mess that's unfolded. He's surprised to learn that Pompinia doesn't want to marry him, and is in love with another man. But instead of reacting with anger, he shows incredible grace and nobility. He offers her a choice: he'll still marry her if she wants, but only if she truly wants to, not out of obligation. Pampinea is torn. She's grateful to the prince, but her heart is with Lorenzo. She doesn't know if Lorenzo is still alive, or if he's abandoned her. But just when it seems like all hope is lost, Lorenzo returns, defiant and determined to fight Gerbino once and for all. The movie builds toward an action-packed, slightly absurd climax. Lorenzo challenges Gerbino in a duel, not just for Pampinea, but for honor, love and justice. The fight is dramatic, wild and laced with comedic beats. Eventually Lorenzo wins, not just the fight, but the respect of everyone, including Prince Djinski. In the final moments of this part, Lorenzo and Pampinea finally confess their true feelings: no more disguises, no more lies. They share a passionate kiss, united not just by attraction but by everything they've overcome together. The prince, noble to the end, smiles and steps aside, choosing to let them be together,